Welcome to episode 104 of the ABC GCI Coffee Break podcast. My name is Allison Jackson. I'm joined by Mike Maloney and Kayla Rodriguez Santiago. Mike, we have some presenting partners this month. KOJO, tell us about them.
So KOJO's been with us for a couple of weeks now, and we've had a couple of listeners reach out, want to know more about what KOJO does. They are a software they're the one-stop shop for purchasing and inventory. They're your all-in-one system for contractors to handle all of the material and inventory needs. I've seen the demo. It's a super cool demo. What they do is they're all about making things more efficient, upgrading infrastructure, or adapting to climate change. One thing that's clear, the construction industry is at the center of solving some of the biggest problems. And KOJO, it is their guiding mission to build sustainable solutions to these problems. And as colleagues, they aim to embody the core values, and we're empowered by what our shared vision of the future looks like when we succeed together. All right. And then the lightning round sponsor is the Google Construction Institute. Google Construction Institute been around since 1983, and they're the education and training provider for the ABC Massachusetts. I'm going to add this part out because I'm trying to type it. I'm not ready, but
okay.
We're getting ready to into the winter break. So for all the students should be on a break right now, enjoy yourselves, get some well-needed rest those brains, because after the first year, you're back in school, and we'll push all the way in through this till the springtime. And we want to wish everybody, students, teachers, sponsors, listeners, happy holidays, Merry Christmas. And this will be the last episode until after the first of the year. So we're looking forward to our little break here. And Kayla's got something she wants to try with us. What do you got, Kayla?
So now a new segment. No, I'm just kidding, because you're always adding new segments.
Add
So
those segments.
I wanted to do a Would You Rather Christmas edition for you guys. So I'm going to ask a couple questions, maybe a few. I want to say maybe like 4 or 5, but you guys can answer and let us know. All right. So would you rather be one of Santa's workshop elves or a 13-inch walking, talking nutcracker for the rest of your life?
Santa's elves.
Elves.
Okay.
Come on, think about it. You probably get unlimited hot chocolate, unlimited cookies.
Exactly.
You get to hang out with your friends. Everyone gets to be laughing and having fun. You're in an adorable costume or outfit or uniform, whatever they call it up there. I probably get to wear a bow in my hair and wear stripes.
Building toys, playing with reindeer.
That's it. Like, that's
just be cute all the time.
Send me there now.
Yeah, definitely. I'm in. I'm down.
Okay, so would you rather wear a Santa Claus beard or have elf ears for the rest of your life?
Elf ears. They're so cute. They're so
that was
cute.
a no-brainer.
I'm going with the beard. I don't know if I can handle the elf yet. People staring at your ears all the time. I don't know.
Santa Claus beard all the time.
Yeah, I could go the beard.
Steak tips getting all up in there.
Birds living in your beard.
Yeah, seriously.
Yep.
You have to put purple shampoo to keep it nice and white, right? Okay. Would you rather never have hot chocolate again or never watch a Christmas movie ever again?
I'd never have hot chocolate again.
That's a good one.
That's a tough one. I don't know.
I would give up hot chocolate.
I'd give up hot chocolate. Yeah.
Yeah, we do like Christmas movies.
We do. We've talked about that pretty big on here.
Love
Some
Christmas
of the
movies.
Christmas movies, yeah, put you in the mood. We talked about that. Favorite Christmas movie. We said, Allison, what was yours again? Did we talk about this before? Favorite Christmas movie?
I feel like every time somebody asks me this, I change it.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know. My go-tos are like The Grinch Who Stole Christmas, the Jim Carrey movie, and then Elf. Like, those are my top 2. But then I also love those. Oh, because I love like the Frank and Bass classics, like the stop motion.
Yeah.
Year Without a Santa Claus, Heat Miser and Snow Miser, all that, or Cold Miser, whatever. But
does anybody watch the Christmas Story marathon there on Christmas Day where it's on 24 hours?
When I used to open presents at my mom's, she would have it playing over and over and over and over. But not recently, just because it's like just so much easier to throw on like the Yule log on YouTube or throw on Christmas music or put something else on other than that.
Patriots playing Christmas Eve. That'll be on my house. I'll have everybody yelling and screaming at the television for Christmas Eve with Patriots on it. It'll be crazy, even though they stink. But all right, what do you got? One more. Would you rather?
One more. Would you rather have a talking Christmas tree that never stops talking about tree stuff, or have a lit fireplace that never goes out.
Repeat it one more time.
So would you rather have a talking Christmas tree that never stops talking about tree stuff, whatever that may be, or have a lit fireplace that never goes out?
Go with the fireplace. My
I
son
guess
is
it
like the
depends where you live,
talking.
right?
Yeah, my middle son's like the talking Christmas tree, never stops talking. So I got one of those already. But I'm going with the fireplace.
I would say fireplace as well. Even
I'm
How
trying
lo-
to like rig it so that I can like unplug the tree because I'm like,
No, it's magic tree. It's a
you
magic
can't
tree.
rig it. There's
Magic tree.
nothing to connect to it.
It's a
It's
fine, then I'll
magic.
magic.
take the fireplace because I need silence.
Yeah, I prefer the crackling of the fire versus somebody
It
talking
would suck in the winter. Or I mean in the spring, in the summer.
in the summer.
All right, so
Can you
that's
imagine you live in Arizona, 115-degree weather, and you just have a fireplace lit all the time?
oh,
My friend lives there and
no.
like cars melt.
Cars
Like
melt.
there are days she's not allowed to go outside and they cancel work because she
Smells.
can't
Yeah.
go to work because it's too
Asphalt
hot.
melting.
It's so
Yep.
hot. Yeah.
All right, this week's episode, we've got Harry Carlson, who's one of our safety and teachers here. Allison, want to talk about the episode because we recorded a couple weeks ago, but we're going to play it because Harry has a special class coming up in a few weeks.
Yeah, this was a really great episode. I was super happy to be able to interview Harry. I've known Harry for years. I mean, I've been working at GCI for almost 6 years now, and I've known him since the day I started. I've been working with him. He's been a safety instructor for us. He's a super vital part of our team. So we're super grateful that he was on the podcast with us. And he was, he came on to talk about mental health. We have a class coming up in January called we're calling it mental health first aid. And Harry's going to be teaching that. And he talks about his own experience with mental health in this interview. And then we talk a little bit about what to expect with the class that's coming up. And so just know going into this interview, there are some sensitive topics that are discussed. And yeah, we hope that you enjoy the episode. And just know that there are people that care about you in this world. And you are loved and wanted and cared for. And we are so happy that you're listening to our podcast. And we are so happy that you're here. And we really hope that you enjoy this episode. Thanks so much for joining us, Harry Carlson, instructor for safety classes and a bunch of different stuff at GCI and a ton of other stuff outside of it. How you doing, Harry?
I'm doing well today. And how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. So Harry, we've known each other for what, 5.5 years at this point?
Somewhere along that line, yes.
True. That was probably the nicest we've ever been to each other.
There you go.
So Harry, tell us a little bit about like you, what you do, and how you started teaching classes that you do for us at GCI.
Whoa. Okay. I've been involved in construction health and safety for over 32 years now. Started out many years ago as a field safety rep in heavy highway on the Central Artery Tunnel project. Got some good training there. Okay. I actually come out of the accounting field, so no disrespect to accountants, but I didn't find I like sitting in a cubicle all the time looking at numbers or whatever. So I went and got a license as an EMT, to try and I kind of wanted to help people, do something to help people. And my sisters are nurses and that type of stuff. So I said, no, kind of maybe being an EMT will be a little exciting. So my first job as an EMT was on an offshore drilling rig. Okay. And I always tell the story of how I got into safety because we had a visit one day from OSHA and the Coast Guard to do an inspection. And the two officials approached the rig captain and said, do you have a safety person on the rig? And the rig captain says, yes, we do. He's right there. And I looked at him and I said, John, there better be somebody standing behind me. And he says, nope, you're it. So that is my introduction into safety. So I said, okay, I'll do this. And I got fascinated by the whole topic of safety, kind of self-educated myself. And also I was very, very fortunate in the professionals I dealt with back then who were perfectly willing to help, to give guidance, training, introduce, programs and stuff like that to help me along. So I thank them all the time when I get the opportunity. And then, I was appointed to lead the loss control effort for AIG Insurance for the Central Artery Tunnel Project for 5 years. So I've been in insurance and I've been in field safety for construction for in and out all that time. And part of the job is obviously training. So I got my certified OSHA instructor for 10 and 30. I also am a certified instructor for MEWPs, aerial lifts, scissors lifts, also telehandlers, or what they might call lulls. And I do hazmat training as well. And then recently I became interested in this relatively new concept in the United States, in this region called mental health first aid. We have regular first aid for injuries and traumas and that type of thing. Or, if somebody's got something stuck in their throat and having a heart attack, we train people on how to deal with that. But what about somebody who's having a mental health challenge? Okay. So to give you an example, you come on, you said, Harry, how are you doing? What if instead of saying, I'm doing well, I said to you, you know what, Allison, things aren't going good. I don't know. I'm having some problems here at home. I'm not getting along with my wife. The job is a strain on me. I'm not sure what to do about it. What would your reaction be? Exactly.
I'd be concerned. Well, of course, I'd be concerned.
You'd be kind of looking around the room going,
well, of course,
what do I say?
when you
What do
say
I
how
say
are you,
about
you
that?
expect good. How about you?
Exactly.
Mhm.
So when somebody, and we're a little bit conditioned to that, but if somebody suddenly opens up, and we've known each other, so it's a different dialogue. But imagine, picture, where you live, you're coming home and you look and your neighbor's house is on fire and it's burning down and you see your neighbor standing there. What do you say to them?
Did you call 911 yet?
What do you say to them when they sit there and they kind of tears are in their eyes and they're saying my whole life's in there? Our tendency is to kind of put an arm around them and say tomorrow will be a better day. Are you sure?
Right.
So, and that's kind of what a little bit of mental health first aid is. When people are in that challenge, okay, be it a traumatic event such as that, maybe it's somebody having an anxiety or a panic attack, or you see somebody that may be having a little bit of delusion, reaction to a drug that they may have taken, or even a withdrawal. Okay. What can we do to kind of put that person in a position where we can refer them to, advanced professional help or possibly self-help? Okay. And that's what mental health first aid as a concept is, to teach you those techniques, keywords, phrases, how to react in situations. And it's done through role play and scenarios.
Harry, why do you think the mental health challenge has become more of an issue over the past couple of years, right? Why do you think it's become such a bigger issue?
Well, I think, if we look at statistics, okay, and it's a statistic that kind of frightened me when I heard it, is if we look at suicide rate in the general population, is about 27 per 100,000 people. That's an unfortunate. But in construction, we're 49 per 100,000. We're almost double the national suicide rate. And yet people probably expect, well, they're tough people, they're hard workers, kind of almost what could be bothering them. And there's a lot. And so, and if you go to the OSHA website, you'll notice that OSHA is now paying attention to this issue because it's leading to injuries, problems. Okay. The industry is interested in it because absenteeism, job changeover, we can't fill positions because of perspective of it. We're multi-generational in our work sites. So those generations don't exactly sometimes can mesh together very well because of their own culture within the job that they perform and they do. And so, we've got to kind of address this whole problem, not only in terms of occupations, but also in society as a whole. Every time you turn around, you hear, he's had a mental health challenge for a long time.
Mhm.
This person's been in and out of mental hospitals. And, so we try to give some guidance, some resources, some techniques to help people. As again, could be professional help's needed, okay? Or maybe there's some self-help techniques that people can do. That we give them some guidance in how to use those to kind of help them kind of overcome a mental health challenge. If you really think about it, probably every day we have a little bit of a mental health challenge, okay, that we're trying to overcome and deal with, as well as other things that are coming at us.
Mm-hmm.
So learning some of those techniques and self-help, and and we do talk about it, okay, kind of how to help yourself to put you in a better mental health situation, I think is just a win-win. It's a win for the person, it's a win for the company and the industry.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. So what's one technique that you would say everybody should know about that will help someone if they do encounter someone who is in a mental health crisis?
Well, the first thing is let's not judge. Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
Not as a mental health first aider, we do not diagnose that, oh, I know what's happening to you. No, it's just offering a listening ear. Okay. We use an acronym we call ALGEE, ALGEE, okay, as kind of a guidepost as a mental health first aider. All right. The first is assess and approach. Okay. Because the first thing you want to do is say, is it safe for me to approach the person? Okay. Or should I stand back a little bit? The second is to offer that. Hi, I notice you're having a little bit of a challenge right now. You want to talk about it? I'm here to listen, and listen non-judgmentally. Okay. Sometimes hard, but just offering that ear for somebody to kind of maybe unload and that type of thing. Okay. And then when we look at it, well, give them some information. All right. And even reassurance. The one thing that a lot of people tend to do, which doesn't exactly help, is, you know what? If you calm down, tomorrow will be a better day.
I'm cured. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bye. I'm canceling my doctor's appointments.
Oh, don't worry. You'll get over this. You know what? It happened to me, and a couple of days later, everything was fine. That's not really kind of what the person wants to hear.
It's almost dismissive.
Correct. And a lot of people are hesitant because they say, well, what if the person reacts the wrong way? Well, if you're just listening to them, sometimes that alone just has a calming effect.
Mm-hmm.
You're paying attention, you're listening non-judgmentally. You're not sitting there going, oh, God, what a wackadoo. That type
or
of
maybe
thing.
Even if you are, you're not saying that out loud.
You're not saying it, or you're not expressing it. Okay. Because when you use certain terms, saying, oh, you're having a mental illness right now you've got a stigma. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's why we use the term challenge. Okay. Are you addicted to drugs? Whoa. That's judgment. That's now saying, So now we know there's a stigma associated with the term addiction. So we teach you to avoid certain terms, okay? So that's one thing we do is listen, okay? Give them some info, reassurance. Hey, encourage them if need be. Do you want to talk to somebody? Okay. I can get you some resources if you want to talk to somebody. You can dial 988, okay, national hotline. There's other resources that are available for you to call. If you're interested, I can give you some phone numbers to help you, okay? It could just be something to encourage self-help. Say it's somebody having a panic attack. Have you had these before? Okay. What have you done that helps you? All right. And they may say to you, well, if I sit here and breathe, real deeply, okay, why don't we do that together? Okay. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. How are you feeling? All right. And if they say, you know what, I'm feeling a lot better. That's good. That's good. So these are some of the things you can do to kind of help people that may be in that. All right. And we also teach you a little bit of looking for key signs that, somebody may be having a mental health challenge. Okay.
Mhm.
You think of people you work with. All right. And you're used to them. You see them. They're dressed professionally when they come in the office. Okay. Hair's done. They look nice. They present themselves well. Then you notice suddenly, wow, seems a little sloppy the way they're dressing. Doesn't have the makeup on. The hair's not done. They seem forgetful about stuff. So you're seeing some changes in them that's not consistent with what you're used to. That may be somebody who's undergoing a mental health challenge. And almost their way of showing that they may be looking for help is that way. I can't be bothered dressing up. I've got so many things in my head. I don't have the time to do my hair up right, or that type of thing. That could be it. So that's kind of some of the things we try to teach you in this MHFA to look for, okay, to indicate that somebody may be having that. And, decide if you want to approach and assess and, give them some assistance if need be.
Have you seen an increase in people reaching out to have you come to their, to their company and talk about this?
I've done a few training sessions, and I know others, MHFA people in the area here that have also done some increased sessions. Some companies have inquired about it to try and understand it better. I've done a training session for one company, started out to introduce it, and they were like, oh, we're construction workers. We deal with this. Tomorrow's a different day. An hour later, I had dead silence in the room. Just suddenly, and sometimes in the session, it can trigger things with people. So, and that's when, we tell people that sometimes this can get intensive. The last training session I did, we were talking about it, and a woman stood up and she started to get tears in her eyes and says, I need a couple of minutes. I said, sure. I said, class, take a break for a minute. I went out in the hallway with her and I said, I'm here to listen if you want to talk. And she explained how somebody she cared deeply about had PTSD, and she didn't know what to do, and she didn't know how to help the person. And she, it just struck home to her when we were talking about it. And I said, okay, why don't you come in? All right, if you feel like you want to, and we'll talk through some of this and give you some things to help you to hopefully help that person. All right. And so that's sometimes how intense it can get. or somebody had something back in their past and it triggers something. So it gets it can get more intense than, going in and learning how to bandage somebody if they cut themselves, or how to, splint them up if you think they have a broken leg, or how to give them CPR. This is a lot more esoteric in its approach.
Any idea why you're so passionate about this particular subject? Why is this hit home with you?
Well, I will tell you, because I've come to face it. In 2017, I was heading home to Everett, and I decided to pull off the side of the road on the Mystic River Bridge where the toll booths were closed, and get out and admire the water down below. And my intention was to be in the water down below. And as I was standing there, a state police cruiser pulled up and asked what I was doing. And we just sat there and we chatted for a while. And he said, why don't you, I'll follow you. Why don't you kind of get yourself to home and think about it, and think about the positive things you have, rather than how much pressure you're under, the personal problems you're having, how you feel physically, mentally, and all of that. And after that, I took his advice. I got professional help. I was in intense therapy for about 3 years. And, I feel so much better about myself. It really enabled me to meet a wonderful woman and get married a couple of years ago. We're happy. Okay. I have a good life now. I very much enjoy what I'm doing. I've reconnected with my children. So that's why I'm passionate about it, because it is possible. It really is possible that you can, get through these challenges and live a good life.
Do you think that you've touched someone like that? The trooper touched you. Do you think that you've done something for someone like that state trooper did for you?
One person told me afterwards they thanked me very much for presenting the class, and thanked me for sharing, that I was a suicide survivor, or attempted suicide survivor, because it helped her tremendously. And, it gave her some guidance, because she was having some issues, because part of her issue was she was a woman in construction, and how much pressure she had, and, how much pressure she felt and everything. And, tried to, and we talked for quite a while about, it may not be you. It's not everything is your fault. Don't blame yourself, and I just let her talk most of the time about what was bothering her. And she said she felt so much better about it. It's really a kind of a time investment. And that's if you become a mental health first aider, you have to recognize that you may have to have that. Because if somebody says, I'm really having a problem. Oh, you know what? I'm kind of busy. Can you come back in 15 minutes?
Mm-hmm.
It's, we teach you a little bit of how to deal sometimes with situations like that. In a way that makes the person feel you still really care, and you're going to do what you can to help them.
Yeah, because it's like sometimes when that person's approaching you, it's like taken them so much to muster up the courage to just ask you that one time. So it's like for you to almost brush off or dismiss can be like world ending on the inside for that person.
Well, it's like we talked about at the very beginning, hey, how are you? Oh, I'm fine. And you? The instant response that you expect is, I know what they want to hear. I'm fine. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. And sometimes I'm not, and I'll talk to my wife about it. She'll say, how you doing? I said, I got to tell you, I'm not having a good day. Well, let's sit down and let's talk about it. Okay. Rather than, and my old way of doing with it is I would just sit in the corner and tell people, don't talk to me. Don't come near me. I don't want to hear nothing. that may work for some people. Go and meditate and kind of get yourself calmed down, get yourself in a better state. That's that self-help we talk about. Okay. So, I'm not dismissive of people who have, issues saying, oh, I had one person say, you know what that's all about? That's because they're all weak-willed. They're all weak-willed. No, it's not a weak will, man. Some of these people that are having issues, pretty strong people, but you can get overcome quicker than you think as to where do I go? How do I deal with this? What happens? I don't see an end to this. Okay.
Right.
And we talk about the stigmas associated with, suicide. A lot of people say, I don't want to talk about it because if I mention it, the person will say, okay, so it's okay for me to do this. No, you're not going to convince anybody to do, to take their life. And we don't like to use the term suicide. You're not going to really convince somebody to take their own life. Okay. If they mention it, they are looking for some help. Okay. That's kind of a little bit of your first cry for help.
Right. So if anybody out there wants to reach out to Harry, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Well, if they call, I've offered the course through the Gould Institute. They can call the office there. Okay. They can get hold of me. You have my number. All right. I'll be glad to talk to them about, what the course entails. The base course in person is about 7 hours. Okay. You can divide it into 2 sessions. You can do it all in one day. We give you the manuals to help you. We go over different techniques, listening techniques, dialogue, that type of thing. Words and phrases to avoid, words and phrases to use instead. Okay. That type of thing. And the idea that we really put forth is we're not there to diagnose you and tell you, oh, after listening to you for 5 minutes, you're a paranoid schizophrenic. That's not our thing. Okay. And we're not saying, oh, you know what? I heard you. You know what you do? Take 2 Valium. You'll be good tomorrow morning. We're not there to cure either. Okay. We're there to help you, to guide you. Okay. To give you that initial treatment so that, you can get advanced treatment if need be, give you some techniques to kind of self-help you. Okay.
Harry, if someone listening right now is going through a mental health crisis or knows and cares for someone who is going through a mental health crisis right now, what final words would you have to say to them? And then can you also tell us that hotline one more time, and any other resources that you know of that may be helpful for anyone to do that?
I'll be glad to provide you with, I have a whole host of resources, hotlines and that type of thing. 988 is the national number to call for health. Massachusetts has some hotline numbers. I can get them for you and provide them. All right, if you want, and you can post them if you want on your website, that type of thing, if that's acceptable.
Yep,
right.
we can definitely do that. And we can post them in the show notes as well.
There's even, I believe there's an app coming up. It's not fully developed. That should be coming out soon. So there are resources out there. People shouldn't feel that, I can't make an appointment with a psychologist because they're so busy. Well, there are other people that can help you and guide you and that will listen to you, okay, about what your challenges are and give you some guidance. So I'll be glad to provide that for you. I had it here, but somebody walked off with my referral numbers.
We'll get that from him, and we'll post on there. But now we're going to hand it over to Allison. She's going to go over some our favorite part of the podcast is the lightning round. She's going to ask you 10 rapid fire questions, no skips, no passes. She does a great job on that lightning round. I always ask the same questions, but she asks great questions to the guests. So take it away.
Shoot.
All right.
Not literally.
What's something you really resent paying for?
What's something I really resent paying for? Ah, that's interesting. I would say probably water.
Yeah, I agree with that. What movie can you watch over and over without ever getting tired of it?
I have to be careful with this one.
Yes, you do.
One I watched 23 times, and I still watch it on occasion, is Star Wars, the original one.
How do you know 23 times that you've watched it?
Because I was reminded that's how many times I watched it.
It gets better every time, Harry. It gets better every time. I'm with you. I'm with you.
You always pick up something, an extra little piece of dialogue.
And then you're one of those Star Wars nuts that quote Star Wars. People are like, what does that even mean? What that means? I get it. I get it.
I think the later ones aren't that good, even though the technology's better.
Okay, what is the spiciest thing you've ever eaten?
It actually was something I drank. It was a habanero infused vodka.
Ooh. I don't think I could handle that.
Yeah, it took a quick shot. The person couldn't believe I did it.
What's the most expensive thing you've ever broken?
Well, if you ask my mother, it would be her special Hummel figurine, which back then she claims was worth $2,000. Now it's worth about $15, but that's okay. The most expensive thing I ever broke is probably my $1,500 lawn tractor. When I ran over a rock and turned it over and bent it all up.
I think I remember that happening actually. Okay. Where was the next one I had? Oh, what's the most interesting building you've ever seen or been in?
The Stata Center at MIT. There's no square corners in it.
Okay, next question. If you were given a PhD but had no more knowledge of the subject of the degree besides what you have now, what degree would you want to be given to you?
What degree would I want to be given? Structural engineer.
Okay. What TV show character would it be most fun to change places with for a week?
Is my wife listening? The Golden Bachelor.
Do you really?
It was cartoon character.
Huh?
Was it TV?
No, I said TV character.
Oh, TV character. Golden. We'll make sure Mrs. Carlson didn't get that one. We'll make sure we
take her out of the email list.
I'm kidding. It would be one of the NCIS people.
That's a good one.
Good catch, Harry. Good catch. Good catch.
I think she heard me and she just threw something at me.
If you could have an all expenses paid trip to see any famous world monument, which monument would you choose?
The beaches of Normandy.
Okay. What's the worst backhanded compliment you could give someone?
The worst backhanded compliment I could give somebody? Yeah, you're a real star.
Saying it just like that.
Yeah.
I think one of mine that I heard recently was intelligence chases you, but you're faster.
I like a friend of mine pulled up to a wedding one time in a Prius. And I said, nice car. Does it come in men's?
Yeah.
No comment.
That was dad joke.
Okay, final question. Where's your go-to restaurant for amazing food?
My go-to restaurant for amazing food? Well, we're kind of somewhat basic people. I would say Fisherman's Wharf in Sandwich. Fisherman's View in Sandwich, sorry.
I've never been.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's
So
right
what
on
do
the,
you get there?
right
What's
on
your
the
go-to?
canal. Seafood. I usually get whatever the special is, or so that's our favorite restaurant.
Right, cool. That's the
Uh,
lightning round. Thanks, Harry.
Awesome. All right, that was Harry Carlson, trainer extraordinaire. He is the man for all things related to safety and now mental health. So if you need anything from Harry, reach out to any of us here. We'll connect you with Harry. But thanks for being on, Harry.
Okay.
Thanks so much.
All right, enjoy it.
Thank you so much to Harry Carlson for joining us this week and sharing his story. And if you or someone you know is struggling with a mental health crisis, you can always call or text 988, which is the suicide prevention hotline. And then getting into trainings, we do have that mental health first aid class starting us off in 2024. So on January 9th and 10th, that class is going to be held. You do have to attend both sessions. And that's going to be from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. So definitely a fantastic class to sign up for if you have not signed up for that already. And then we're going to have a HAZWOPER 40-hour class. It's going to be starting on January 10th and it goes through February. It's going to be 5 different sessions and it's a day-long class. It's a long class, but it's a really, really good one to get. And then finally, we have a Hoist 1C2A prep for exam on January 13th from 7 to 3:30. All of those classes are at the ABC GCI Woburn office. You can check out all of the classes through 2024 at gwgci.org/events.
All right, here comes the last. Here's the news for 2023. And this week's news is brought to you by Kenny and Sam's and Patriot Benefit Services. So thanks to them for being sponsors of the newsletter. And this week's news is going to be the retirement of Lou Sinella. He was GCI board as a treasurer, been involved in ABC Massachusetts and the Gould for over 30 years. We want to thank Lou very much for his service and his dedication and support as treasurer. We had a little party for him over at San Marcos here in Woburn. It was a great event. We had a good time. Don't forget to save the date. I know that Carol is getting ready to send out some postcards the next couple of days here. So hopefully after Christmas, you'll see something in your mailbox. But she's got some great events planned for 2024. The first one being Meet the Generals, April 4th. Going to take place at Granite Links over in Quincy. The golf tournament, June 20th, over at Pine Hills in Plymouth. We've got Last Blast of Summer at the end of August. Step into Safety will be September 26th. The Oktoberfest will take place October 17th. It's the Young Joe Kenny fundraiser. It's a great event. Excellence Construction Awards will be November 7th. And then the holiday open house here at the office, December 12th, 2024. And as always, if you want to be on the podcast, reach out to us. We'd love to have you. And then some member updates. We've got Julia Kelly has joined the Conley Brothers in Beverly as an in-house marketing coordinator. So welcome aboard. And Erland builds beds for those experiencing childhood poverty. The Erland team went over and helped build a dozen beds through a bed for every child. A remarkable organization dedicated to ensuring that all Massachusetts children enjoy a safe and comfortable place to rest. And like I said, Mike at gwgci.org is the email. You can reach out to me if you want to be on. And, as we wrap up 2023, it's been a great year. We've had a great time. We met a lot of great people. We've had some great sponsors. And it's just going to get better as we push through another 100 episodes here on the Coffee Break podcast. Thanks to both my co-hosts that does an amazing job. Without them, none of this would be possible. They make it all fun every week. So thanks to my co-host. Merry Christmas. Appreciate
Merry
you guys very
Christmas.
much.
Happy holidays. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah. And
Wouldn't
then
be the same without you.
Jesus, goodness. Next year. Talk to you later. Thanks for listening.
Thank
Like, tag,
you.
share, follow. Merry Christmas.
If you or someone you know is struggling with a mental health crisis, help is available. Call or text 988 or chat 988lifeline.org.